So today I have with me for an interview voice actress Ame After Dark. How are you, dear?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing great, doing swell. I finally get to interview you.
Yay! Sorry.
No, it's fun. I've been looking forward to this. Miss Peachy talks about you very highly.
I've been informed of that. She's true to her name. She's a beach.
Aww. All right, now before I ask you all the professional voice acting questions, I have to know, I have to understand the name Ame After Dark. Where did that come from? What does it mean?
So it's actually kind of funny because when I started my not safe for work content, I was under a different name, and I didn't actually start as a voice actor. I made a Twitter account for I wanted to do more drawing and fan art and so I made an OC, and my first OC that was gonna be like not safe for work was Lollipop. So my original username for my not safe for work content was actually Lollipop VP, and I put it as LOLI because it was a play on Lolita because I love Lolita content, as in like the dress, not the other stuff.
Okay, fair. I gotcha.
And that didn't last very long because when I got into doing not safe for work audio, um I made the mistake of putting the word Lolita in, or Lolly in something on Patreon, and they just did not like that. So they basically were like, you have to remove this content. I removed the content. Next thing I know, they're like, you have to change your username. What? And at this point, I had already changed it to two L's because I had been informed that it might not look right. So I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, the character's name is spelled with two L's. It was just me being funny. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna change it to Lollipop, as in the candy. And I was informed that's too close to Lolly. So I was like, okay, I need to come up with something different. So this is actually relatively similar to my safer work, which I keep them somewhat separate, but it's not like an oh my god if someone figures out who I am. My safer work also has Ame, which is my initials. AME are my initials, and I love that. And then After Dark just means, adult content, after hours kind of thing. So it was
Oh,
just a play
okay.
on that, and the Ame came from my initials, and it also coincides with my safer work, which works out because it that means that like I don't have to separate everything because I can just be called Ame on everything, so I don't have like a million, different nicknames.
Fair. I totally get that. Oh, well, that's an interesting story. Fascinating story, really. I'm so sorry about the unfortunate circumstances with Patreon.
That's okay. It kind of works out because obviously, like, my content isn't geared toward lolly content. I do a large range of content, and I get that a lot of people right now are avoiding that type of content. So my username is actually like my last username actually like cost me jobs. Like I've had people be like, "We can't cast you with this name because Steam will cancel our game or not greenlit us or So it wasn't a smart choice on my part, but I mean, it was more of a taking back what's mine because I'm a petite woman. So
Oh.
it was like I also wanted to get into cosplay and stuff. So it just kind of coincided with I'm a petite woman and I don't see anything wrong with being small. And I've always been mistaken for being younger than I am. So it was just kind of a mesh of a lot of things that coincided with me as a person that apparently to other people is wrong.
Oh, I'm so sorry, dear. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Ah, well, on a more light-hearted note. Now, if you don't mind me asking you some more professional questions, tell me, Ame, how long have you been voice acting for?
So for not safe for work content, I started around July. But before that, I've actually been voice acting since I was a teenager, since oh god, 2012, 2000 no, before that, over 10 years. Over 10 years. I was like 14 when I started doing online stuff. I done it on and off since I became an adult, but now that I, live in an area that's better. I've been able to do it full time. So I basically like I've been doing it for 10 years, but I don't really have much to show for that. But I did like small fan dubs with friends in the past, and I went into machinima and I auditioned, regularly for stuff, but I didn't really get my break until I moved over to like not safe for work content.
And do you mind telling me why you made that transition to not safe for work?
So it's a multitude of reasons. The quick reason is just to get out of my comfort zone more. Um, it's actually kind of funny because I did actually take in studio commercial classes, professional one-on-one classes with a coach, and I have a higher pitch voice. I've always had a higher pitch range, and a lot of content for women normally is this sultry, more womanly sounding content. So it was kind of like, okay, well, I can practice that with not safe for work content. Well, it hasn't really worked out because people like my original voice for not safe for work content. But it was kind of I can practice that while also getting out of my comfort zone. I had some stuff happen in my past. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but basically, I wasn't very comfortable with my sexuality or like adult content, and I just thought using voice acting would be a great way to kind of, find what I'm interested in and use that to kind of get out of my shell more and being able to act out things that I may or may not enjoy in real life. So it's kind of been more therapeutic to me than anything, but there's also the fact that it was like I started it on Reddit. I didn't actually start on Twitter. I didn't start looking for jobs or anything. I was just doing free content on Reddit. I was posting somewhat regularly on there, and I was getting a lot of support and a lot of positive comments, and that was something that I just never got with my saferware content. So I took that and kind of rolled with it over to actually, trying to audition for not safe for work projects, trying to do commissions. And it just became a bigger part of my voice work than my safe for work side. Like I almost don't do any safe for work auditions or anything anymore because I just blew up so quick for not safe for work and had such a positive outcome from like the content that I did that I just kind of found who I am and what I like from it. If that makes sense.
That makes complete sense. That makes complete sense, Ame, and that's actually very wholesome. That's so sweet, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Now, if you don't mind my asking, what is your favorite kind of not safe for work content to voice act for? What are your favorite kind of character archetypes to play as?
Okay, so I don't really have a set favorite. I have to admit that like stuff that involves like wholesome, friendly friends to like lovers type stuff has been like really fun. I've done a couple of audios that have been about like, making the listener feel better about like, their size or like their personality or their weight. And those ones have been like the most fulfilling for me because it's like I'm not only helping gratify somebody sexually, but I'm also kind of being a voice that maybe they don't hear often, like the positive aspects of stuff that most people make them feel bad about. But for me personally, I actually like crazy roles. I do a lot of niche content that other voice actors don't do. Like for my safer work stuff, most of the content I've done was horror games. So I've done a lot of screams, a lot of cries, a lot of yells, and I pride myself on being good with that content because it's content that when I started out, a lot of like the people I was around couldn't do it because they're afraid of being heard by their families. So they did like fake screams or they just didn't audition for those roles. So I was like, oh, this is a section that I don't have a lot of competition. So I just kind of rolled with that. And it's just so much fun to do like the extreme out there characters like yanderes or sanderes or like, even harder content. Like, I do wape content or like cuckold or stuff where like you're not in a position that you'd ever want to be in real life normally, but it's so much fun to be able to like bring those roles to life because of the amount of voice work that is needed, the extreme gravity of those roles.
You are so unbelievably wholesome. I just want to give you the biggest hug. You are so sweet and kind.
You obviously missed the last half of that, but okay.
No, seriously. It's what you're doing it's very commendable. It's very commendable, and I'm happy that you're having fun with it as well. That's like, you're awesome. You're awesome. This is awesome.
I do enjoy my work.
Tell me, how do you create your work exactly? What is your tech setup?
Okay, so I'm actually do voice work full time now. It's funny that I started doing Not Safe for Work around July because that was when I moved to a different state to actually finally be with my boyfriend. Sorry, guys.
No,
but,
that's sweet. Lucky man. Very lucky man.
I try to remind him of that. And he's honestly very supportive of all of my content, which I think has been a great influence on me because it's like I don't have to hide anything. And I know some voice actors don't always have like that support system, and I'm like in a place where like I don't have to hide my content, safe for work or not safe for work, and that's just really refreshing because sometimes it's like I just want to rant about the stuff I do or be proud of the stuff I do, and if you don't have anyone to talk to about that, it's just draining. But anyway, I have a closet, a really big closet. Like we have a table in there, we have a safe in there. It's basically I could put a bed in there. It's so big, which is awesome because I was able to, isolate it, soundproof it, and I have a Rode NT1 microphone that I have hanging so that it doesn't get any like ground reverberation. So it's a hanging mic. And then I have oh god, my mind's going blank on what I have. An audio persona box, a phantom power source, and I normally record in Audacity, but I do a lot of my editing in Adobe. I just like the way that Audacity makes wavelengths look. They're a lot cleaner to look at, and it's a lot easier to like zoom in on them. So
Yep, I totally get that. I use Audacity as well. Great program.
for a program, it is awesome. I've been using Audacity since before you can just slide audio. I used to mix audio plays in Audacity when you had to add silence in between everything just to like pace it. I am so
Oh,
glad they upgraded it.
Jesus. Yes.
I've been doing that for a long time, but other than just recording wise, I also use those programs to do, a lot of audio editing. So it works out.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. So tell me, Ame, do you want this to be your dream job? The job you work the rest of your life on? Like, is this the most fulfilling thing you've ever done? Is this it for you? Do you want to go professional, or are you happy with where you are right now?
I already do this full time from my home studio. Thankfully, with the support of like my boyfriend, I've been able to get to a point where I'm making enough to kind of help us. But I'm not really sure if I want to go completely pro. The industry is changing a lot, and so much stuff is now being done online that it almost makes it to where a lot of studios are getting online talent to the point that you don't have to live in like a major city. I know that before we moved out here, me and my boyfriend also does voice work, but I haven't talked him into doing a not safe for work stuff yet, so I can't out him. But we were thinking of moving to LA to try to get into studios out there, and living expenses in California just aren't my thing. I'm definitely more of a simple girl. I like the fact that I live on a farm. I like having this space to myself, being able to take a walk without seeing a million people. I don't like people.
Aw.
No offense. I like people from a distance. It's one of those things that's like it. I like the fact that being able to do indie content, I can live where I want. I don't have to be restricted by times. I can kind of make my own schedule to record a lot of the times, and so much stuff can be done online that it's like I would love to be a part of studios. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be a part of, professional dubs or video games or, original, American content because that's where I'm from. But I would rather fly there than have to move there, and a lot of times it's more beneficial to move there, and I kind of like where I'm at. So I'm kind of at a I feel like I can do it all online as indie and just kind of, make enough money to sustain myself this way that I don't feel the pressure to do everything the correct professional way to get into the industry per se.
I get that. I totally get that. That's completely fair. That's completely fair. Well, all the best to you, and I'm sure everyone, like all of us here, you have our full support.
Thank you.
Now, if you don't mind my asking, I'm very curious, how did you learn to voice act? Did you take professional classes, online courses, or was this all self-taught?
Well, I mean, I did take classes last year. That was the first time I ever actually took any um classes because I lived in an area where there just wasn't any, and I know there's a lot of online ones. I know I was just ranting about loving doing stuff online, but there's a lot of, I don't want to say scams with online coaching, but it's just so much more refreshing because I wanted the in studio experience because I've always recorded in my room. So I wanted to find somebody to do in studio content. So when I was looking, I made it apparent that I wanted to find somebody in my area to be able to know what it's like to actually be live directed and have that kind of experience. But there's a lot of people online in the community who do um, coaching and online classes, and most of them are great, but there's also, like, the fact that the industry is changing so much, it's like everybody has their own method, everyone has their own, style, and one rule that I remember hearing that I try to live by is not to take classes or coaching from anybody who has not been in the voice acting industry professionally for less than 10 years. Um, that's a good age range 'cause it's like, or time frame, because it's like they have had to adapt to the changes, and they also understand what directors expect more than, like, those who might be newer into the industry. But, um, other than that, I got into voice acting because I was in a school that had no theater, and there really wasn't any, like, theaters around me. I just wanted to act, I wanted a way to express myself, and so I got in it by that, and I sucked when I started. I think everybody who's first starting out in voice work isn't there yet unless you do have some type of acting background. So I basically just learned as I went, and I'm proud of where I am, but I do wish I would have taken more courses and hope to take more with in the future.
Okay. Again, totally fair. Totally fair. I'm curious, though. I'm curious. What do you think is your best trait? What are you most proud of as a voice actress that you can pull off with your voice? And what do you think you struggle with the most?
All right. So that's kind of a toss up because I already said that, like, one thing that I strive myself in is, like, the fact that I do a lot of, like, screaming and crying, and so I'm more of an emotional voice actor. I struggle a lot with impressions and, like, I can do lower voices, but I'm not as confident with them as, like, my higher range. So that would probably be my main answer, but if you're talking about voice-wise, I tend to do a lot of the happy-go-lucky characters, and part of the reason for that, and it's funny, I gotten really good at doing higher pitched characters or loud characters because when I had a really crappy mic, I could lower my sensitivity to make it sound better when I was doing loud roles. So I just gotten really good, over dramatized, over emotional characters, and so that's always been my strength. So subtle characters, impressions, lower pitch roles, those are kind of where I struggle a little bit, but I'm trying to fix that.
Good on you. Good on you. Never stop learning, never stop improving.
Right.
So tell me, what do you personally like as a voice actress? What are you striving for at the moment? What's your next big goal as of late?
As a voice actress?
Yes, as a voice actress. What's the next milestone you want to surpass?
Well, a lot of the content that I've done so far, has been like, personal or created by me. So a lot of, like, my clients come to me for erotic audios that I fully mix and put out. So I guess my next big move is just getting into more games with other voice actors. I haven't actually been in a lot of content that includes a lot of other people. Most of my content has been solo content, which is great. I mean, it's good because it highlights me and only me, but there's, a community of people that I would love to work with, and I just need to get out there more to do it. But because I spend a lot of my time doing, audio content, I just haven't built up that repertoire yet or whatever.
I get that. I totally get that.
So I would like to be in more content that has more voice actors or more visuals at least. Like, it's fun doing audio content. It's fun creating like a visual experience from just audio where like they have to, you have to do the audio to where they can be able to understand and, hopefully see in their head what's going on. But there's so much attractive art. I just want to see my characters doing the acts that they're supposed to be doing.
Ah, get it. I totally get it. But speaking of meeting people, could you perhaps share the story of how you met Miss Peachy?
I actually met Miss Peachy in AVA. We just kind of talked in there, and then eventually we just kind of been friends ever since. It's kind of funny because she's been doing Not Safe for Work voice work more than me, and has a lot of dedicated fans. She is lovely. She deserves every single one of them. I'm so happy for her. But she comes to me a lot for advice because I've been doing voice work longer. So it's this weird relationship where it's like she's the one who is like has the following and she totally deserves it. But she'll come to me and be like, "Can you help me with this?" I'm like, "Sure." I love being that person that people come to and try to give advice to. But it's so funny because, for Not Safe for Work, I'm like not really as high up in like the popularity game, if you want to call it that. But voice actors within the community themselves, they don't care about that. They see your talent or they see your professionalism, and that's normally what they like focus on. So it's really cool to have like that demographic where it's kind of like you would think she'd be the one giving me advice. Which she does. She does, but she talks to me a lot.
God, that's so adorable. Oh, now that, actually, this is an excellent follow-up question. You mentioned the AVA Discord server earlier. If you don't mind my asking, how'd you get in?
So, it's actually kind of funny. The creator of the Discord server, Ivan, he actually knows me from my Safe for Work side. We did machinima stuff together. So, when they were seeing me posting under my other username, everyone saw me and they were worried because my username was Lollipop and they thought I was underage because of my username. So my username just caused a lot of fucking problems. But he happened to see, because I also post photo content, so he just happened to recognize me from my Safe for Work stuff when he saw like some of my like photos on my Not Safe for Work side. And so he came to me directly like, "Hey, I know who you are." And it's like, "Oh, I know who you are." So it's kind of funny. But that's how I got in it. He asked me if I wanted to join. I joined. I've been in ever since.
Oh, you're an AVA vet. I didn't know.
I wouldn't say I'm a vet. I definitely got in around July. I was not in it before I started doing Not Safe for Work content. I don't know when I don't know when the Discord was made. So I don't know when it was made. I just know that I was asked to join not a month or two after I started on Twitter, which was May, June. I don't know.
It
was a while ago.
That's fine, dear. We don't need specifics. That's totally cool. But I'm going to have to give Ivan a good talking to. He never told me about this. Oh, I'm what's a coming to go? Okay.
I mean, maybe it's more of the protecting because he did only know that it was me and that I was legit because of my Safe for Work, because I didn't have a lot of Not Safe for Work content on Twitter for them to see at the time. So
I'm still going to bug Ivan regardless.
Go for it. I can't protect him.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thank you, Ivan, for adding such a fine addition to the voice acting roster. Oh, okay. So, that is enough professional questions for now, I think. So, Ame, do you mind if I ask you some more personal questions to get to know you a bit more?
For it. I'm fine with that.
All right. Okay, something basic, simple. What are some of your favorite foods?
Ice cream?
Oh, wonderful. What flavors?
I actually love moose tracks, and it makes me so sad because I live in the middle of nowhere now, and our store doesn't have moose tracks. You can't deliver ice cream.
Okay, don't hate me, but what is Moose Tracks?
Moose tracks is an ice cream that has like little Reese cups in it, and it has caramel and chocolate swirls.
Oh, oh my god. Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, and my store doesn't have it. I mean, I'm sure if I went to like one of the stores like an hour away in one of the actual cities of my, state, I could probably find some, but
Is there still, like, other flavors of ice cream nearby?
yeah, I got cookie dough last week.
Oh, that's my favorite. Cookie dough's my favorite. Oh, brilliant. So there's still, you have some ice cream at least. You have
Yeah.
some ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not living completely without ice cream.
Oh, excellent choice of favorite food. Excellent. Okay, if you don't mind my asking, besides voice acting, what are some of your favorite hobbies? Watching movies, reading books, playing games?
So, I basically do voice work all the time now. When you work from home, you never really stop. But I do. I like to play video games. It sucks because I can't stream. My internet is so bad that I can't stream. I'm just happy that I can do this call with you, honestly, because it gets so bad sometimes. So I haven't been able to play games as much as I'd like. I've been able to play Final Fantasy 14 with my boyfriend. He bought it for me for Christmas. So
Aww.
we've been playing that on and off. And other than that, I read a lot of webtoons before I go to bed. And dramas like Asian dramas have been like my thing lately. So, which is bad because you think there's only 10 episodes, but you forget they're like an hour and a half long.
Damn.
Yeah, but they're so good. It's so unfair. So other than that, if you're gonna talk about like shows, normally when like I'm playing video games, I'm normally listening to like true crime or forensic files, just because I like the fact that I don't have to watch them while I'm like playing video games. So those are like my interests, which I know are kind of weird.
That's not weird at all. That's awesome, Ame. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know why would you think that's weird?
I don't know, just the whole fact that it's like, yeah, I like to watch murders and how they happen.
These shows are obviously very popular. They get millions of views and make millions of dollars, so obviously people are curious. It's a curiosity. It can't be helped.
It's true. The forensic ones are fun because it's like, I technically am getting a science lesson.
Exactly. Oh, that's great. That's great. Any sports? Do you play sports?
No. I am 5 feet tall, under 100 pounds, and I'm definitely not built for sports.
Not even swimming? Not even swimming?
I like to swim, but I wouldn't say I'm sporty at it. I tried out for the track team one year, and before like joining, they did like a week or two of like getting used to like the routine, and I would come home so sore I would just take a bath for an hour. So I was not mine. I did actually take dance when I was a teenager. I took hip hop for a
Ooh.
year, and then the place I went to closed. So I do actually like dance, but other than that, no, was never really into sports. I broke both arms twice as a kid. So,
Well, you're going to have to tell us that story. How the hell did that happen?
Well, okay, so I didn't break them. I didn't break them at the same time.
Oh, okay.
I broke both my arms 2 times. So I broke 4 arms at different times. The first one I was 3 and I fell out of a chair.
Wait, how hard did you fall out of the chair to break your arm?
I was standing on the chair when I fell.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
And it's fun. That story was kind of funny because my dad didn't believe it was broken because as a little kid, you're like, I'm in pain, but you can't really explain it. And I was still doing, I don't know what it's called, but like, you know how little kids will like grab their parents' hands and will walk up their legs and then like do a backflip? I was still doing
The
that.
backflip is new. The backflip is new. I've heard about them climbing up their leg. The backflip is very new.
No, I would do that, and I was doing that with a broken arm, and that was my dad's way of being like, "No, she's fine." But every time I do it, I'd hold my arm. So my mom's like, "No, we're going to the hospital." And I came back with a cast, and I think that was the biggest "I told you so" my mom has ever been able to get my dad. But other than that, I broke my arm skating.
Okay, that's reasonable. That happens to people, yes.
I had someone clip my skate. So I fell awkwardly because someone clipped the back of my skate.
Jerk.
I fell off of a swing because my dumb butt decided it would be nice to, swing on a swing in a wet bathing suit.
Oh no. No.
I slid off the seat. And then the second one, because I saved the best one for last, or the worst one for last, however you want to explain it. So I have 2 brothers and a sister. And my little brother do you remember a movie called Dennis the Menace?
I do indeed.
He is the definition of that movie. So my dad is a machinist and he had like steel toe boots. My little brother decided it'd be a fun idea to throw these boots at me. So I was running away from him.
Oh no!
And we had a couch that wasn't against a wall. It like the back part wasn't against the wall. And behind it was the door outside. So like you open up the door and then there's a couch, so you have to walk around. So I jumped on the couch to jump over it to run out the door to try to find my mom to be like, little bro's being a jerk again. And my older brother just happened to be on one side of the couch and he had his homework on the other side of the couch. And I stepped on his homework and he decided to push me over the couch. To make the story better, there was a tiny bike, like my little brother's, first bike, in the corner by the couch. So I had twisted to avoid it. And my arm landed just right that my arm split in two. Like, my arm went backwards.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. That must have hurt like hell.
I actually didn't feel it. I guess it happened so quick that, like, whatever blocks out pain done its job. I ran upstairs to get my mom and she wasn't up there. When I turned, I saw my arm dangling. I grabbed my arm, I walked downstairs, I looked at my older brother, and I'm like, you need to get mom. He turned around, his jaw dropped, he said, okay, he walked outside. I had grabbed my arm, put it back in place, and was holding it together. My mom walked in, I told her, I broke my arm. I was like 12. I broke my arm. She said, no, you didn't, let go. I'm like, you don't want me to do that. She's like, I have to see it, let go. I let go.
Oh.
And my arm flopped backwards again. And my mom almost fell too.
Oh my god!
The worst part about this is, I don't remember if it was my birthday or Christmas, because they're relatively close together, but for some reason, I got a tutu as a present, and I was wearing the damn thing. In winter. It was winter. I was wearing a tutu with a broken arm. And my mom was not going to take me to the doctors with the tutu on. So they had to help me get out of this tutu. Like, not just like the tutu, like the fluffy thing, like the whatever it's called that goes underneath it. Like full, tight. I don't remember the name of it. But
oh my goodness.
But so they had to help me out of that with a broken arm that's dangling. And then they basically put one of my brother's shirts on me and put a blanket around me because they weren't going to fight with a coat because it was winter. And we drove to the hospital. And that happened on a Sunday, I remember, because I had to go back the next day to get it set. So they weren't able, because I broke it to the point that I actually had to have surgery. So they gave me a splint to keep it in place. And they gave me, ibuprofen with codeine, which I'd never had before, but that shit knocked me out.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
But yeah, so I broke my arm, like, and it's funny because that was okay. So I broke my arm when I was 3, and then I did that one, and then every year since then I broke my arm, but it was a different arm every year. So like 1 year I broke my right arm, 1 year I broke my left arm, 1 year I broke my right arm, next year I broke my left.
I think that's enough personal questions. I think we got a clear picture here. Oh my god.
I'm a klutz. I'm afraid of falling now. I was never afraid of falling, but yeah, every time I fall, I seem to break an arm. It's to the point that I'm about to just faceplant.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I want to give you a hug, but I'm afraid I'll break your arm.
Ouch. Thanks. Yeah, I'm made of glass. It's okay.
Oh my
I'm
god.
porcelain, and I will break if you touch me.
Oh god. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Oh, all right. I guess to transition from that, Ame, would you mind if I asked you some silly, jokey bullshit questions for fun?
Go for it.
Okay. How would you survive an insect apocalypse? Giant bugs are trying to kill us all. What would you do?
I guess a giant fly swatter would be kind of ridiculous, but that's the only thing that came to my head.
Creativity, I love it.
I mean, trying to fuck the, Bug King would probably save my life, but I don't know if I would really enjoy that.
Oh, why would... Oh my god. Thanks for that image. Thanks! Thanks! Oh my lord. Well, okay. On a somewhat similar... No, why would I say that? No, okay. I want to ask you the eternally debated question. I'm very curious what your answer will be. Tits or ass?
Neither?
Oh!
Personality, goddammit! Did I mention that I'm literally physically a lolly? I don't have either! I'm trying so hard to get the butt, but I can't do much with the top.
Oh dear. I'm sorry, dear.
If I'm talking about other people, like if I'm gonna be attracted to somebody else, I like boobs.
Ah, but why?
Comfy little pillows.
Oh, that's adorable. Yeah, I understand completely. Oh my. Okay, alright. So, tell me, how would you plot the perfect prank? Someone's pissed you off. You want to get back at them. What is the perfect prank you can come up with?
I kind of just want to take a book from Jigglypuff and write on their face while they're asleep. See how long it takes them. Especially if it's a dude. Some people don't look in the mirror.
Oh, that's true! What would you write?
I don't know. I'd probably just draw random stuff all over their face. I don't think I'd draw anything coherent, just make them look as ugly as possible.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It would be. It would be a lot of fun. I'd probably use multiple colors. It'd be a rainbow by the end.
Oh, I love it. I love the creativity. Okay. Now, who would you take with you on a deserted island? Who would you want there to be your island roommates? Help you survive?
I'd probably have to, if it's more than one person, or if it's one person, it'd be my boyfriend, but if it was, like, multiple people, it'd probably be his family. I live on a farm with people who can literally, like, survive off of the land. No offense to any of my voice actor buddies, but I'm gonna choose the people that I know how to cook and kill animals.
That makes sense. Complete survivalist to the core. Yes.
It's funny because when this Corona stuff started, I was joking like I'm in the best place for this. I'm on a farm with people who know how to live off the land. I'm ready for the apocalypse. Okay.
Hell yeah, girl. Alrighty then. Okay, so Ame, we're coming to the tail end of the interview, and I'd like to do something a little special and different. How do you feel about asking me some questions? Can be anything you want. Can be serious, can be silly, can be deeply personal. Again, open book. Whatever you want to know, ask away.
What got you into not safe for work content?
Pixie Willow. She reached out to me after I made some videos on. Have you heard of the game Subverse from Studio Foe?
Of course. Who hasn't?
Well, she left a comment on one of my YouTube videos. I was like, oh, who's this? Who's this? That's a very particular comment. That's a very particular name. I looked her up. Oh, she's a voice actress. She's worked for Studio Foe. Eventually, we started talking on Discord, and a beautiful friendship was born. She invited me to the Adult Voice Actors Discord server. I met all of you, and it's history.
That's awesome. It's kind of funny how it all kind of goes around like that. What's your favorite type of hentai?
Oh, I don't watch hentai, dear. Porn makes me very uncomfortable.
Well, poopy. How do you deal with all of us then?
Oh, easily. You're all such fun, loving, kind people.
Now I understand why everyone likes to make you squirm. I mean, that's kind of fair. I can watch hentai, but I can't actually watch real porn.
That is fascinating.
I think it's more the fact that it's like, when it's hentai, I can insert myself into a character because they're not real. When it's porn, it's like, that's obviously not even close to being me.
Oh, okay. I get that. I totally get that, yeah.
Yes, I mean, porn is normally drawn in, like, hentai is normally drawn in a way where it's like, it's very appealing to the eyes, where it's like, a lot of actual porn is normally it looks darker. It doesn't look as pretty, it doesn't look as exciting, it doesn't really turn me on.
Oh, you're all about the aesthetics.
Yeah, kind of. Okay, so, let's go with this one, because I'm sure other people want to know the answer to this. Your new project. I haven't been able to listen to the trailer that you put out, but I didn't know that you were coming up with a project, so what's that about?
Well, horror, monsters, voice acting. Like, I'm making this project, like, for all of you. You've all been such wonderful friends and, quite frankly, family to me, and I want to do something fun. You lot, like, spend most of your weeks moaning into a microphone. I thought, wouldn't it be fun screaming, making monster noises? Just, again, I want this project to be fun. Like, most people in the community seem to really enjoy horror, so I figured, okay, let's make this about horror. Let's make a horror story. Let's make a bunch of creature characters.
That's awesome. And it's funny because this whole time I've been like, I like doing loud stuff! But yeah, it's actually kind of funny because I have a lot of free samples on a website called freesounds.org, I think is what it's called. Under my Safe for Work name, and I've had those samples up there since like 2012, and I've accidentally heard myself in so many games that Markiplier has done, because I watch a lot of Markiplier Let's Plays, that it is astonishing.
Oh my god!
So I do love horror. That's awesome, and I'm sure everybody will. I mean, I can always tell that everyone's really excited to audition. So
hope to see one from you too.
I'm on it. As soon as, like, I know it's not gonna rain, because there's nothing worse than being in the middle of a recording and hearing it rain.
Yes. Oh dear God. So many YouTube videos I had to scrap. Jesus.
I mean, it works out if I'm doing like an ASMR thing, because I can, just play it off as being like a sound effect, but sometimes it's just like impossible. Like thunder, lightning.
You and those life hacks and voice acting hacks.
Well, when you do this for so long, and like I live with my family before July, like I live with 6 people. So I had to learn very quickly how to like record around a lot of people, record around a lot of noise, try to isolate my stuff in an area where I didn't have a closet. So yeah, I just kind of figured things out as I went. And I think it's led me in a good direction. So I can't really complain about the years of struggle anymore.
Well, good for you. Good for you, Ame.
What's one thing that you haven't done that you really want to do?
Oh, jeez. Okay. Do you want a wholesome answer, or do you want my actual answer?
Your actual answer is fine with me.
Orgy.
All right. I've had that one. It wasn't that great.
Oh, really?
Kind of. My first live-in boyfriend was kind of into a lot of content that at the time I was new to. And he kind of pushed me into it, and I can't say I really enjoyed it. And that's partly why, like, it took me a while to get reused to my sexuality and what I personally wanted, because I kind of had a lot of things chosen for me back then.
Oh, okay. In that case, I changed my answer just to threesome.
I had that too with him.
Oh!
But don't worry about changing your answer. Your answers do not offend me at all. I understand the excitement.
Oh, I'm not, no. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about offense. I'm just, I'm taking your advice.
Well, it's one thing I would say is if you're going to do something like that, don't do it with somebody who you're in a relationship with. It'd have to be, or another couple. Like, that's definitely something that it's better when everybody's kind of friends, but not sexually involved outside of that. Where if you're, like, in a relationship with somebody and they're, in my case, I wasn't that into it. So it was more of, I was literally talked into it because I felt like if I didn't do it, he wouldn't want to be with me anymore. I was at a very dark spot in my life. So it was just more, I'm getting into topics that I'm so sorry. You were giving me a funny answer and I'm going into dark stuff.
No,
But-
Ame, it's fine. It's your interview, dear.
But yeah, if you're going to do stuff like that, either, because even when people are like couples or like they're both into it, I've seen look, I'm into criminals, like, stories. A lot of them were open relationships. They ended up dead. It's just one of those things that I'm like, if you're gonna do it, be single and don't be with any of the parties involved, because outside of it, because it can get dicey.
Again, solid advice. Solid advice.
Because I know a lot of people aren't, like, I even, know voice actors who are into, like, BDSM or, like, you doing things with various partners. I've come to the conclusion that I am definitely a person who just loves being with one person. I like the way that feels. It's nice to know that you have someone's complete attention. I am a spoiled little brat. I love that. And so it's just one of those things that's like, you can't get that when you're with multiple people, and if you're sharing with somebody, you start to question how much somebody cares about you and how much they're just using you to try to attract other people. Like, I was used to basically attract other women.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Ame.
It's okay. I've moved on a lot from that. It's been several years. I've moved on a lot from that, and I don't let that define who I am now. If anything, it's helped me, I mean, it hurt me for a while, obviously, but it helped me kind of know what I want in a relationship, and it helped me know what I want for myself. So in a way, I probably wouldn't even be doing this content if it wasn't for my past, because your past defines who you eventually become. You just don't want to remain in the past.
Fair. That's totally fair. And good on you. Good on you. So proud of you. So happy for you. And this interview's been an absolute honor.
Well, thank you.
So, Ame After Dark, if the also kind and generous listeners and watchers of this interview want to find you and support you and listen to more of your stuff, where do they go to do that?
Okay, so I usually post previews of stuff on Twitter, Newgrounds, and I obviously have a Patreon that you can listen to more content on, and I've recently started posting my audios on Gumroad for those who don't want to, support the Patreon. Other than that, that's about it. I do actually have a website as well, which is just myusername.com, that you can go to look up my resume as well as my services, because I do voice work, but I also do audio and editing work as well. And that's about it.
Wonderful! Links to everything Ame After Dark will be in the description and in the comments section down below. Ame, this is the part of the interview where we threaten our viewers into following and supporting you. So, how should we threaten them?
I don't like threatening people.
Oh, okay.
Just support me if you like my content, okay?
we can threaten them with kindness.
I'll love you if you support me.